Welcome everyone to the Her Story podcast tonight. I am so excited about tonight's show. This is the very first time that we have been able to launch the His Story podcast. And we have our first guest, Dr. Charles Briggs, who is here to share his story with us. He is the author of Messy Miracle, and he's going to dive into his story and give us some real good insight about what this story will unfold for us. We are going to encourage everybody to buy his book, of course, because he's not going to give you everything. We have to leave some stuff to the imagination so that you can go out and purchase a copy of this book. But I do believe that it is an amazing story. So we look forward to hearing what Dr. Briggs has to say. So welcome, Dr. Charles Briggs, to the show, to the Her
Thank
Story
you.
podcast. Thank you for the His Story version of the Her Story podcast. And also, we'd like to thank our Her Story, the Gathering Incorporated CEO, Tashonda Wallace, who is joining us also on the show tonight.
Hello,
And
everyone.
yes, along with myself, Katrina Harbin, your founder and host of the show tonight. So, again, thank you. Thank you all for joining. Everyone who has watched the show before knows that this show is about healing, it's about pouring out of and pouring back into. So, we don't come on this show for fame. We don't come on this show. We hope that our viewers don't come here to judge, but to listen and to be encouraged and to be uplifted, because the stories that we share on this podcast are things that many people have gone through. Some have overcome struggles, traumas, issues, circumstances, and some have not. Some are still stuck in that place. And I believe that hearing those stories through storytelling opportunities and through the storytelling platforms allow people to heal. It finds people where they are, and it allows them the opportunity to hope and believe that they too can be free and they too can be bold enough to share what they're going through as well. So, that being said, we are going to jump right into conversation with Dr. Briggs tonight and talking about his story and what he's going to share on the platform tonight. So, before we talk about your book and your story, Dr. Briggs, tell us a little bit about who you are today. Share some parts about your family, your purpose, your passion, what you have going on in life right now. Who are you, Dr. Charles Briggs, today?
Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for having me on your podcast this evening. I am actually excited. Um, this is my first time ever doing a podcast, I believe, or even talking about my book. So I'm very excited. But a little bit about me today, 2026. um, I'll start with who I am. I am a program director at in Alamance County in Burlington for children and adolescents with mental health disabilities and childhood trauma. So that is my passion because my book talks about my trauma. So I'm very passionate about anybody that goes through any kind of trauma, specifically directed to children. Um, and that is something that I feel like I'll probably be doing for the rest of my life. Um, I am um, a father of one daughter. Her name is Shakira Briggs. I'm a grandfather for Kaisley Grace. Um, and they are the loves of my life. Everything I do with them in mind. I have them in mind every step, every decision I make. I always have them in mind. Um, I am the oldest of two. My mom, I had two boys. I'm the oldest, but my brother thinks he's the oldest, but I'm really the oldest. Um, And so I'm most grateful. I'm most grateful to shout out to my church family, Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance, Bishop Altron Slade, here in Greensboro, ministry that I cover. And so I'm most grateful to my church family and to my family, my mom, my dad, my brother, my nieces, my nephews. Um, and I'm so elated to actually be able to give insight of something that I never thought I would be able to do.
Well, it does sound like you have a big support system
Yeah.
behind you.
Yes.
Um, and that's important. That's very important. It gives us the
Yes.
boldness and the courage to be strong enough to share when you got somebody standing behind you to say, "Hey, I got you in this."
It
So,
took a while to actually get to this place of actually knowing that I had a support system because I was closed up for so long. It was just a lot I didn't say, I didn't voice. And so I didn't feel like I had a support system just because I didn't voice. I didn't have a voice. And I'm 48 and just now discovering I have a voice.
that's how it
Yes.
happens. That's how it
Yeah.
happens. And I realized that
Yes.
lately that so many our age range, because I think we're around the same age in our 40s, and the people that we've been encountering have been around our age, and they're like just exactly what you said. I didn't realize that I would have the support that I have. Otherwise I would have
Yes.
talked to somebody earlier. I would have shared my story sooner. But when we realize that there are people who support us, who believe us, and who love us, and who will protect us as we walk through the journey of healing by sharing our story. Tell us, we're gonna talk about your story next, but tell us what inspired you first to go ahead and begin writing this book, Messy Miracle.
I was inspired by Tashonda Wallace. um,
Wow.
and she's hearing this for the first time. She did write my foreword. I'm gonna try not to be so choked up and teary eyed tonight, but
It's
I'm a
okay.
water
We'll cry
bucket.
with you.
It's
It's okay.
okay.
um, I was inspired by her, but I was inspired because she basically came in at a point in my life where I could be vulnerable and not feel raped or molested.
Oh, wow.
Um, and it pushed me. At the time, we were just, I think she had was starting to transition to Greensboro, and we were going to this place called Herbal like single day, going to Herbalife, shakes, becoming more healthy, and so I was getting healthy in one way, but inwardly I was still unhealthy. And we would have conversations, so many different conversations, while we were just sitting around and talking. Um, and it just clicked like, you need to start, you need to get this together. Now, I had already started writing it. I had started writing my book in 2011. In 2011, no, I'm sorry. 2012, I started writing my book. I was coming out of a very horrible, horrible, horrible abusive relationship. And I started writing my book. And in the midst of me writing my book, that's where Bishop Altron Slade came in. He started telling me all of these things that I was going to be. And I was looking at him like he has lost his mind. Nobody's pastor. I ain't doing none of that stuff. But he started telling me about I was going to write a book and this and that and the other. And he's actually how I met Tashonda. So I think they planned this some kind of way spiritually. They tried to gang up on me, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
But he started telling me like I was gonna write a book and this was this and that and the other. I had actually started it before I met him, but I had put it on hold just because of some things I was going through. But I became really, really inspired when I found a safe place um, with Tashonda, where I was able to share me with, and I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel um, like I was saying too much. It was, we had raw conversations. We had raw conversations.
We did.
Um, and I and I just wanted
Yeah.
to I wanted to help someone else. I wanted someone else to know you're not too old, you're not too young to have a voice. I just needed people to really know that. And that became, and the more I seen children, the more I heard of this child being treated this way or that child being treated that way. I was like, I have really got to speak out. I kept getting all these words time after time after time. You're going to attract what your book is about. And I'm like, how y'all know I'm writing a book? You know what I'm saying? So that was more inspiration for me to actually do it. But it got paused. My book was actually done in 2015. And this is
Wow.
2026.
Mm,
This is
yeah.
2026. Um, for a couple of reasons, I was scared to release it, and I was just fearful what people would say, what people would think.
Isn't it something how we finish
Yeah.
the story and then hold it? Just hold on to it. I think
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shonda probably can relate to that as well.
Yes. That's why I was shaking my head. Yeah, I did the same thing. I wrote it, I believe, in my early 20s, and I write bits and pieces here and there, and I just have it there. I was too afraid to let anybody in because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want the backlash. I didn't want family to say this and that about me. That little girl inside of me was afraid still to open up because she didn't want to cause trouble.
Hmm.
And that's what it is that little inside that was afraid that the old school, what stays in the house, what done in the house stays in the house kind of
Hmm.
thing. And to have a voice and to say this has happened to us is a breakout. Do it afraid. That's what I always say. I had to tell myself, do it afraid, no matter what. And linking up with also with Sis Katrina is also to what helped me when she had the strength to tell her story and let somebody read into it. I'm like, okay, if she can do it, I can too. I was shaking. The first podcast, I was shaking like a leaf, but I went on and said what I had to say, and I thank God that I did.
Yeah.
So
So it
I
was
understand.
awesome. It was awesome. So yeah, so we definitely get it. We definitely understand that feeling and that place that kind of held you up for a minute, but you're here now. You have done
Yep.
it. You have done this,
Yep.
accomplished this great thing, and it only
Yep.
opens the door now for so much
Yeah.
more. And I can definitely see that happening. So now that we know what inspired you to write the book, let's let's jump into your story. Tell us a little bit about the messy miracle.
So when we get into just the title alone, A Messy Miracle, basically it talks about um, the mess that I was, maybe the mess that I still am. I don't know. It just depends on how you look at it. Um, but how I came from this to that, from darkness to light. It goes directly into a childhood. In some parts of my book, I did put a disclaimer that some parts are fiction, some parts are for entertainment. Of course, names and everything like that has been changed to protect people's privacy.
Mm-hmm.
But a part of the book that deals directly with me is my molestations. Um, and not just one time, but we're talking like multiple times. Um, and going through life and going through school and going through church and pretending that you're okay, because back then in the 90s and when I was growing up, in the 80s and 90s and things like that, um, we had to be silent. That's how I felt. I felt that we had to be silent. As Tashonda said, what goes on in the house stays in the house, what goes on in the family stays in the family, that type
Right.
thing. You really didn't know what to say, who to tell, or if you could tell anybody at all. Of course, you had people that said you could come and talk to them, but my vulnerability, my innocence was taken from me. So I didn't feel comfortable talking to anybody for a long time. Um, Women, and still to this day, most of my best friends are females. Um, I trust men, but I don't trust men, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember very, 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 very clear, the first time that I was inappropriately touched, um, and being told at that age, I better not say anything. Well, you're young, so you're fearful that if you say something, that this is gonna be consequences. There are consequences to this, and I'm just, now coming into the understanding of what it is, literally. And I know this may sound crazy, but I'm 48, and it was only 2 years ago that I started going places by myself. I always felt like, um, whenever I was by myself, something bad happened. And that's just how my mentality was. And that stemmed from the seed that was planted. Um, every time I was by myself, here comes this person.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm by myself, I knew this was going to happen, you know? Um, and so I just remember after I was really eager to get my book out, um, something broke. I was at church, and I remember, um, the people praying for me that particular Sunday. Um, I remember because we were at the church on McRae Street in Greensboro, and I just had this urge to start rebuking the spirit of fear. Now, I've done that plenty of times. Rebuke fear off of people, rebuke fear off of other people, but I've never done that for myself. Never said to myself, I, you're being released from fear, or I release fear from you. Um, I remember, and when I say this, I remember one time I was here in Greensboro, and the very first guy that I got into, that I was involved with, and this helps. I need people to understand. My book talks about how being touched made me explore homosexuality. It made me feel as though it was a normal touch. It was normal to be touched that way. It was normal. Nobody else could touch me the way that another man touched me. Nobody else could give me that security, if that's what you want to call it. Um, and so, in exploring that, for whatever reason, I was beat. I was a part of, um, two relationships with domestic violence. Um, And that was another reason why I did not like to just go places by myself. I never liked to be alone. I always had somebody with me. I don't care if I was going to the grocery store, or if I was just going up the street around the corner, I would always have somebody ride with me. I remember one time when I went to Walmart, and I want to believe, um, Bishop Slade was here at that time. because I remember freezing up in Walmart because after 5 years, maybe longer than that, maybe 5 or 6 years, I saw the guy that I was in a domestic situation with, and I froze, and I literally freaked out, and I was ready to go, and I left. Um, I don't even remember. I think I remember just leaving the buggy, the basket, and everything. And he was so Bishop Slade was so confused. He was like, "What just happened?" And then I had to basically go into and tell details. Another person that was with me plenty of times when it happened is my best friend Kelvin. Shout out to my best friend. I love him dearly. Um, they at that time were the two who knew the most about me and knew why I didn't like to be by myself. That is bondage. I held myself in bondage. I was in my 20s. I'm 48 when well, let's back up because when I first met that person I was 18. So from 18 to 46, I didn't go nowhere by myself. I didn't do nothing by myself. My book basically talks about the dark. The first few chapters are very dark. It brings you to a place of maybe help you to understand why I'm the way that I am, or why I was the way that I was, or even going through school. And every day I had to go to school. Every day I had to go to school and be bullied. Every day was a day. Nobody knew that. I carried myself. I was quiet. Believe it or not, I was a very quiet individual in school. The loudest I was in chorus. Music is what helps heal me. I like any kind of music. So when I was in chorus every single year that I was in school, it was I remember in elementary school when The Greatest Love of All came out. I used to cry when I heard that
Wow.
song because it reminded me that they're still worth in me, that I still have a future no matter what I was going through, even in elementary school, and I couldn't tell nobody. But I would play that song over and over and over and over and over again. I believe, and I would change the lyrics. I believe that Charles is the future. I would change the lyrics and just make it about me. And it just became to a place where I could feel children in elementary school that had been through the same thing I've been through. That's that spirituality part and kicking in elementary school. And I could feel them. I could feel their ache. I could feel their pain. And it happened throughout my life, even now. I'm very sensitive when people down people with struggles, whatever their struggles are. I'm very, very sensitive because you have no idea that nobody acts to be the way that they are.
Right.
Nobody acts to be beaten. A female doesn't wake up and say, "Oh, today is the day that I want to be with a man that I want them to beat me until I'm bloody." You don't wake up and ask for that. Those are things that life brings. But when you see someone that has been through that same thing, my heart like gravitates to them. And I know I can't save them, but I can help them. I can tell my story to help them so that they know like you're not alone. You're not by yourself. This has happened to me. And I remember when my brother first heard all of this that y'all hearing right now. He was so ready and so angry and bitter. And I was angry and bitter for years. My molester actually apologized to me. Actually apologized.
Wow.
Um, spent some years ago, and that was another reason. That's another inspiration. I was like, wow, you know, um, that gave me closure. It gave me a sense of peace. It gave me Um, it just gave me this. I actually have a love for him. You know what I'm saying? That's the love of Christ in me. Because
Yeah.
how can you love somebody so bad, or how can you love them and they have done XYZ to you? Had to be God. The
Love of
the
God.
people that I was in relationship with that where domestic violence was involved, I love them. I don't have to be around them, but I love them.
Mhm.
And I told them I forgave them. Well, one called and told me, actually, both called and told me they were sorry. They
Wow.
did. And I forgave them. I forgave them. Um, that's just something that I'm a church boy. And so I came up in a very strict church. But my bishop, my grandmother, my grandfather, both of my grandmothers, they instilled that in us. You know, um, you gotta love. You gotta love. And
Yeah.
that's why I feel like for a while it was hard for me to bring my book out. I was I didn't know if my story would basically cause an uproar or bring unity or bring love. But I said to myself, I don't care what it causes. It's my story.
There you go.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
It's what I've been through. I don't care about anybody else's feelings, how they feel about it. It's my story. It's what happened. Um, it's so many things. The one of the parts in my book that sticks out to me the most is when I finally realized, like, I'm supposed to be doing somebody's church. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but there's I was getting all these words. You're gonna minister, you're gonna preach, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And it was almost like I don't want to do that. I'm very comfortable in the choir, on the praise team. You know, I'm real comfortable in anything with music. You know, I'm okay right there. When you get more into my book, you start understanding why it was hard for me to be behind the pulpit. I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to be what I was told. I was told by one. I'll say this part. This is gonna make you want to read the book. I was told by a preacher to do it, but just don't let nobody know.
Oh,
Wow.
Um, and I thought to myself, I was younger, way younger. I think I was about 23. I was 23. And mm, I just remember just like being so confused a lot. That was this seed of confusion that was planted in me.
Yeah.
I was so confused by just that word, those words, that it's okay, just don't tell nobody. Ugh, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? It
right.
it just it brought so many feelings and so many different emotions. And so to this day, I feel like I still battle a little. I still battle. Well, I still battle mentally due to things that happened back then. I'm better, but I could be better. Um, I'm grateful that I'm not where I definitely used to be.
Yes.
Um, Mentally, I get better. What helps me is my job, the work that I do. That's what helps me. I'm driven. They drive me to be better. My staff, my staff, oh Lord, we're like family, basically. We're more like family. And they're just, you would be surprised who's been through your stuff. I'm so serious. You would not believe how many people deal with the stuff that you deal with, but they don't know because we've just been quiet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the word of the Lord even tells us that
Mm.
we overcome by
Yes,
our
yes,
testimonies.
yes,
So
Lord.
if we
Yes.
do not say anything, if we don't say nothing, then we are causing so many people to not be
Mm.
helped, to not be
Yes,
free. We
That's
gotta
good.
talk. We gotta say it.
Yes.
yes. We just talked about
Yes.
that.
Yeah, for
Wow.
sure. Yeah.
We just talked about that. What, Tuesday night?
Yeah, Tuesday
Yeah.
night.
How help telling your story is not only healing for you, but it's a healing for somebody else. Because as we go
Yes.
through life and the things that we have, that God has given us the strength to overcome, and we encounter these people who are going through some of the things that we're going through, they become assigned
Yep.
to us.
Oh,
They become
Yes.
assigned to us. And no matter, and I was telling them, no matter who pours into them, no matter who try to
wow.
help them, because it's your tone that brings them out. It's the tone of your voice that helps to heal them in that place that they are, because they're assigned to you because of what you
Right.
had to go through. And it's just that what I love about you and hearing your story and hearing some of the things that you shared is the character. There's a certain character in people who love beyond measure. You can't measure some people's love. Like some people, you can tell they say it out of formality, but you can tell when a person loves you and they have no choice. Like even if
Yes.
they tried not to love you or not to care about you because you've hurt them or because of who you are, it's impossible for them to not love you. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of
Right.
character you have, because I'm familiar with that, because it's the kind I have. You know, I was
Mhm.
Yes.
abused verbally, mentally, emotionally, by my ex-husband, who put fear in me. And later, even through all the threats and the threats to blow my head off with a shotgun, the all kinds of threats, even through all of that, if I saw him in the streets, I love him with the love of Christ. If he was hurt and in need, I would help him because I have no choice. I don't know how not to. And that's the
Yeah.
character it sounds like you have. It's like, I don't have a choice but to forgive. I don't have a choice but to love, because it's just in me to be that way. And I'm glad the enemy didn't rob you of that.
People say all this. Well, I tell people all the time, like if you are anything attached to my ministry, when people join the church, I would always tell them, this is what you're going to hear. This is what's going to be said,
Mm,
But I've even told, I remember telling my mom, I said, I'm going to attract to the church what I've actually gone through. I said, and the Christians and the people with titles have to be ready to handle these vulnerable, hurting
mm-hmm,
people
mm-hmm.
that nobody wants. They don't want the messy part of me. They don't want the messy part of us. They
Wow. I
instantly
like
want the miracle.
that. I
They
like
That's
instantly want the
good.
miracle.
that. I like that.
They don't want the messy part of us. But all
Mm,
of us, in some shape, form, or fashion, are messy.
it's
All of us
true.
are. And it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter um, if it's alcohol, if it's drinking. And I will actually, I would even say this about myself. It got so bad that I remember, and I've testified about this plenty of times. It got so bad before my book coming out, and because of the trauma and because of the mental, emotional, physical abuse, um, I turned to alcohol. I turned to alcohol and I would preach and I would leave that pulpit and I would go to the bar and I would get drunk and do it all over again. And nobody asked me why was I doing it. Nobody was talking to me. Everybody was talking at me. I felt that it was you're not trying to get an understanding of what I'm going through. You're just yelling at me and you're saying, "But you know what you called to do. You're this. You're supposed to be this. You're supposed to do that, and you can't do this and you can't do that." But you're not asking me why I'm doing it. You're not trying to get an understanding of what is happening or why are you faced now with this? Because now that's another trauma. That's something else that I got to deal with. That's a whole nother mess. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, um, part two of A Messy Miracle brings pretty much part one is my life from a little boy to the time that I'm like late 20s. And part two goes back to 30 up until till now. But a lot of things I was so people used to think I was mean, but I wasn't mean. I was bitter at the time. I hadn't wrote this yet. This wasn't. I mean, it was being written, but I wasn't really pushing it because I'm still angry and I'm still bitter and I'm still in a place of trying to figure out why this have to happen to me. You know, why me? Why me? Why me? Why? So many questions of why, and I don't know. I remember one time. Um, this is in the book. I remember one time I was somewhere and I was holding a child. I was holding a little girl, and the parent came and snatched the little girl off my lap just because I guess you felt that I would do something to your child based upon what you know about me. And that was another thing. Then
Mm,
that became more hurtful. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I always tell people just because somebody did that to me, I promise you to God, I would never want a child to feel what I had to feel,
That's,
what I
Mm-hmm.
had to go through.
that's
I promise
amen.
you
That's right.
to
Yes.
God, you do not want to. That is insane to me, and I often think about people who do certain things to certain kids, and without remorse, just
Yeah.
and it's habitual to them and they get gratification out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the part of me that I feel can save every child. Children love me, and I know why. I love children. I do.
Yes.
I feel like I'm their protector. I'm always in protect mode, always trying to protect. Um, Even in churches, the parents beat the kids. I'm going to get the kids. Y'all just come sit on my lap. Come over here with Pop. So I feel, I don't know. I just feel that I know I can't save a child, and I know I can't. Stop anything from happening. But I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the point of contact. I believe that when I'm holding
Yeah.
these children and I'm praying for them and I'm praying over them, I know what my prayers are. I know what my silent prayers are. It is even at my job. Um, but we're not supposed to pray with them, but I don't care. Listen, it's I do not care. I'll be like, come in my office real quick.
No, that's right.
We get ready to have a little talk with the man.
I know that's right.
But
That's
yeah.
necessary. So you talked about a couple of things that are helping you in this journey towards overcoming. And then you mentioned one thing too before I say that. You mentioned one thing, about, you know, this is a process. So
Yes.
although you're moving forward, there's still some opportunities for continued growth. And I think that's all of us. People
Yes.
say forgive and forget, but it's not that easy. It's easier said than done.
It is.
However, we continue to move forward. We continue to pray God for strength, and stuff like that. And so we connect ourselves, or things begin connecting to us, that helps us in the journey. So you've got your job, you've got these beautiful children who just bring joy to your life. And you have this book, which is a testimony. It's almost like an exhale to where you might have been holding your breath for such a long time, turning blue, running out of air, don't know what to do. And now you've had a moment to exhale because you have released this book, you have released your story. And that is a major step. It is such a huge
Yes.
step for anybody who's been holding on to stuff, where you sitting still and you thinking about the stuff you went through, and it's like, who can I tell? Who can I trust? Who can I tell this to that's not going to judge me, and different things like that. So along this journey, gathering those things to support and help you, what other things are you doing to help you along in it with the coping and all of that stuff?
About a couple of years ago, I started LOT, which is called Life Over Trauma, LLC. And LOT is it is a group session. I do group sessions. I do individual sessions. I love my group sessions, but my group sessions have became so personal to my group, um, that it actually helps me to heal. Hearing things that we discuss in group, and then when I hear things that are discussed personally, it's healing to me. Um, so Lot is we meet once a month. We really need to meet more than that, but we were meeting twice a month. But life happens,
Mhm.
and I kind of fell off a little bit. But Lot is something that is very dear to my heart. It is almost like my new baby. It's about 2.5 years old now. 3 years, maybe 3 years old now. Um, and it came at a place where I was spiraling. I was spiraling. Um, Life hit me and it brought depression. I was so depressed. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but my post was dark, my pictures was dark, my stories was dark. It was just dark. It was a very dark time. It was a very dark place. And then recently, the end of last year, it became even darker. And I was like, kept hearing the spirit say, you need to start lot again. You need to start lot again. And I'm saying to myself, start it while I'm a mess. Start it while I'm a mess. Why would I do that? Why would I start it while I'm a mess? Why would I start it back while I'm a mess? And then I kept hearing the spirit say, your mess will turn into a miracle. Your mess will turn into a miracle. I hear that often. I hear him say that a lot. Your mess will turn into a miracle. So, in the midst of me going through, um, here comes Lot knocking on my door again. Life over trauma, knock, knock, knock. And I started I started Lot because of my book. I started Lot because of my own trauma, my own traumatic experiences. And I used to have my first few sessions, oh my Lord, was so packed. I don't know if it was packed because I have food in the beginning for everybody.
It helps. It helps.
Food helps. Or it was really coming for the session. I don't know, but no, but it's really informative. I learned a lot. It's like I have to learn so that I can help. I
Hmm.
have to learn more so I can help more. So
Hmm.
Lot pushes me to learn more. That's how I started to discover, hey, you really got some mental issues going on. You really have some mental battles going on. I that used to not be so freely to say, but I am a mental health advocate. I am an advocate for mental health. My job sends me to mental health conferences. I just started going last year. to mental health conferences just to learn more and more and more. Because when you know yourself, you want to know more about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, had no idea. I thought I was just dealing with, depression or just dealing with trauma and had no clue there is something that is mentally off or chemically off. And I had to get a grip and like, oh my goodness. And I tell people all the time is you have more than one mess. Your living room can be clean. It can be a mess in the bathroom. Your bedroom can be clean, but the den is a mess. You know what I'm
That's
saying? So
good.
that's how
Yeah,
that's how our lives are. Our
that's
lives,
Yes.
good.
this part is clean, but this part is a mess. This part is
Yes.
okay, but this part is a mess. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's why I don't believe in perfect people. I don't believe in people who ain't never
Right.
been through nothing. They
That's
don't
right.
never have nothing that they never have nothing to share that they came from or they came out of or but always have a lot to say about other people
Mm-hmm.
but never about yourself. Is
Mm-hmm.
you can never identify with anybody. That means to me you're perfect. I mean, you don't want to say that, but you're just perfect. You don't understand. I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand why they go through that. I'm like, dang, you've been through anything, my lord. So, lot helps me. Lot helps me a lot. And now that I'm able to be by myself, I get in my car. I just did it. I was coming back
Mhm.
from South Carolina, and Tashonda, I think Thursday morning, yesterday morning,
Yeah.
had sent
Yeah.
me an audio, and I was like, I'm sending you an audio because I'm driving by myself. But so now, I take a lot of me time. Went on my first cruise with my best friend in July. Um, it was a 8-day cruise. Ooh, I didn't book my second one already for
Nice.
January. um, so those are things that are helping me right now. I'm rediscovering what I lost. I'm rediscovering what I didn't think I could be. I'm
Mm-hmm.
rediscovering Charles again. Forget the titles, forget the pastor, the apostle, the doctor, forget all of that. I'm rediscovering me, and there's nothing wrong with that. For the past 2 years, I thought something was wrong with that because the more I start rediscovering who I was and who I am, people started saying, like, you still saved? You sure is doing a lot. You be missing church a lot. I miss church because I don't have to be there. I've already established that work. That's not my job anymore. So if I don't get out to explore, how do I know where to build?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know which
Right.
land next belongs to me? Which territory
Right.
is my next plot? What's next? Because if we keep just staying around and staying around and staying around for people,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna find ourselves right back in the same mess. And I ain't trying to go back there. I'm not trying to go back to none of the messes. I'm over all. I'm over them past messes. Like, give me a new mess or something, but that past mess, I ain't trying to go back to.
That's good. That's
That
really
is good.
good. That's very good. So that's a lot of good stuff that you're doing to keep yourself moving forward. I got to get familiar with some of those things too. So
Yes. Yes.
that's very inspiring. Very inspiring because I'm one person, I
I
don't like going
learned that
nowhere by
from
myself.
Tashonda.
Yes. I am too, believe it or not. I'm learning a lot from her too.
That's
So and
awesome.
I'm
so who is
learning a
that?
lot from
She
y'all.
used to tell me. She used to tell, from me. I'm like, I'm
Yes.
gonna give you back what you gave me. Because you used to tell me all the time, you need to take a trip, you need to do this, you need to go here, you need to go
I
there.
did.
And I'm like, I'm not getting in no car on no highway. I had like a fear just going to, man, I done been on so many beach trips and take this day, I'm going here this day. I just do it. I just do it. And it makes me feel, I don't know, I have to breathe. When I get to that place where I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed or where I feel like I'm getting depressed, before I get to that place, I have to like literally do that. And I just do. Grateful for my job for understanding that. I have the best boss in the world. So when you see this boss, you just remember I'm grateful for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we'll wrap up. We're not going to hold the people too long, but we do want to encourage them to get that book. But before
Yes.
we do,
Yes.
for the people who will listen to this, who will hear your story, who will be inspired, what's at least one thing that you can tell them who may, and we don't know their story. Some have never even shared their story, but somebody might be in a place where you was. What is something that you can say to them to inspire them today?
I'm going to leave this with them. And I'm so glad you asked me this question because I was going to ask you anyway. I wanted to read something this is something at the very end of my book.
Yes.
And this is what I want to leave with with you all today, and to the people that's going to hear this, and to the people that I'm a help. I
Mm-hmm.
want y'all to reach out to me. I literally want you to reach out to me. So at the very end of this book, I had to insert this part. It says, "Now that you have heard the first part of my life in story form, there are many questions that arise at this point. Is my life still a mess? What took place during my 30s and now my 40s? Am I happy? Did I fall backwards? I mean, I'm sure inquiring minds would like to know. Stay tuned to see what takes place in the next chapter, the sequel, A Messy Miracle Part 2, Life Over Trauma. Until then, be true to who you are and remember to live like it's your last day on earth."
Yes.
I say that because it doesn't matter that you've overcame one area of your life. It's always going to be another hurdle. It's always going to be another obstacle. It's always going to be something else that you got to come through. So me just coming from that was nothing compared to what the other things that I'm overcoming that I had to overcome. But the fact that I understand that this is the beginning, there's always a better ending.
I like
Better
that.
is the end of a thing than the beginning. So you're gonna always have something to get over. Always gonna be that hurdle. So I will say keep jumping. Keep jumping. I don't care how tall that hurdle is, you jump it until you jump over it. Crawl over it if you can. Go
Yes.
around it some kind of way. However, whatever you got to do to get past that hurdle, keep
Mm-hmm.
going, keep moving. That's what it took for me. I gotta keep going because I gotta live. Like it's my last day. Gotta live.
That's right. That's right. And you've
Right.
inspired me. You have
Wow.
inspired me
Yes. Me
tonight.
too.
I got a couple of topics I've done mentally wrote down. I'm like, I need that. I got to use that. You definitely inspired me tonight. And
Thank
I
you.
am so excited and
Yes.
thankful for you choosing us to be,
Yes.
to share your story, your first podcast, his story
Yes,
podcast.
ma'am.
That's exciting. That
Yes,
is
very.
Yeah.
so exciting to
Yes.
me. Um, your story only gets better, and it's I can like see it exploding, and it's
Yes.
crazy because people wanted your story and they wanted to see, I want to hear it tonight. You said it's airing tonight. I want to hear it tonight while you're
Yes.
online. So many people want, nobody has ever done that before for any of our shows where they
Wow.
said, send me the
Yes.
link, I want to see it live, not that I'm aware of, I want to see it live as it air. So you have an impact on people already, and
Yes.
you
Wow.
may not know everybody, but people know
Oh,
your
wow.
name. They know
Wow.
Yes.
your name. And um, it's not because of anything bad either. People know you and people respect you and they want to hear your story. They want to know who you are. And I think this is the beginning of a whole different journey for you. This is a whole different
I believe that.
ministry
I
for
believe
you
that.
Yes.
because I can definitely see, just like her story, where we're reaching the women, there are so many men out there as well with stories that
Yes.
it's harder to pull it out of them. So to have somebody they
Yes.
can relate to that's strong enough to stand and be okay, and they can exemplify that for them and they can see it, that is going to be a huge impact. And I
Yes.
admire you for that. And I thank you for
Oh,
that.
Yes, I just want to say thank you also too for joining into his story on
Yes.
tonight. You was a very much of an inspiration to me as well. Somebody on my job bought your book today.
oh, wow.
Somebody on
Wow.
my job, a security guard, bought your book today. So
Wow. That's
you don't
amazing.
know how many people, yes, how many people are that you have not seen. So I want to thank you. You kind of did into me as well when it comes to the fear of going places by yourself. That is me to this day. And I want to overcome that. Even to the grocery store, I have that fear. So
Uh,
I want to overcome that particular fear. Like I'm always looking over my shoulder. And so that's a spot in my life that I need to become free from. So that was a great inspiration. I'm going to walk out and do things afraid and
Yes.
do
I
things
like
for
that.
myself and not be afraid because I always got to pull my husband. Can you go with me here? Can you go with me and go with me to Walmart? Go, go, go. I'm doing the same exact thing. I recognize myself through what you said. So thank you for opening up and helping me tonight with
wow.
that part. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
Nobody knew about that.
No.
Nobody knew about that. But
Wow.
yes, thank
Wow.
you.
So
Thank y'all
yes,
so much for having me. I'm grateful. And yeah, we need to link up. We need to do some stuff together.
absolutely.
Stuff together.
Absolutely. This is only the beginning.
Oh
This is
yeah.
only the beginning.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So again, thank you, Dr. Briggs. Thank you to Shonda. Thank you, everybody who will watch this show, who will tune in. We appreciate your support. So we want to make sure you flood the bookstores, go to Amazon, tell them the different places that they can go real quick to get it.
So yes, it is available now for purchase on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and on my publishing company's site, which is called Reader's Magnet. So it's readersmagnet.com. And it is doing wonderfully in Germany right now. So I don't.
Oh.
So we're
Sounds,
excited.
sounds like traveling to me.
Let's go.
So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you for listening to Her Story Podcast. If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who needs hope today. Remember, your story matters, your voice has power, and healing is always possible. Until next time.